Good evening and welcome to Savage Universe. We've got a special Savage Universe tonight, this week. We're here with Brandon of Star Anvil Studio, who has a Kickstarter that's ending in the next 57 minutes. And we've done this before for Pinnacle. We do the last hour where we sit around and we talk about the Kickstarter, the events, the stretch goals, what's in the book, what's coming next. And Brandon was like, hey, could we do that for the Secret World North America? And I was like, why the hell not? And so if you are an ace and you will want to do this in the future, info@savageuniverse.com. I will set this up and we will hang out and chat and watch the countdown, which is currently, this Kickstarter has funded, and we're sitting at, or Brandon's sitting at $62,872 with 887 backers. I don't know if it's possible, but if we can get into 1,000, that would be amazing. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I would love 1,000 backers.
Not to bury the lead.
Even one more would still be one more backer. But yes,
that's right. So, tell us about the Secret World. Tell us about North America. I know we talked about this earlier before when we had you on, but I always enjoy hanging out and chatting Savage Worlds and games and with you. So welcome back.
You know, one of the cool things was being able to add the couple of stretch goals we have going on right now, I think, because there were things that people wanted in the game, but don't necessarily fit directly in. My cat's eyeballing me to jump on me any second again.
Any second now, Brandon will be mauled by a cat attack.
Boba Fett the cat.
Boba Fett where?
He's right here next to me. Anyway, there was things that we thought, well, these things would be cool in the game, but they don't necessarily fit just in the North America book. And maybe, there's some people who won't, who will just want to get that later on in Avail. What can we do for them? And so I think when we came up with the talismans was one thing we were, kind of missing. And the bastions and bases based on the 5e does bastions, Savage Worlds does bases, or whatever you want to call them, it just sounds like it's bastions and bases. And then we really were hoping to hit hometowns, like how to play the Secret World in your hometown, like to make that into a thing. And so these are things we think that are really adding to the game on top of whether you just, no matter what you have, the base game setting book, or if you get the North America or not, because, eventually we'll make this available to everyone. It's just included as part of the game if you back North America now.
So let's
cool.
Let's start with talismans. That was the first one that you unlocked. For those who are not familiar with the MMO, what are talismans and what's kind of the design goal for them in the
they can add extra abilities or bonuses to you like any other Magic as many games do. But a lot of times too, they're also like, if you play the Secret World, you don't see a lot of people running around wearing armor, but somehow they have protection. And so the talismans can be that sort of like allow you to get certain levels of protection without. It explains why characters in the real world are running around, looking like they're not wearing like bulletproof vests, and yet somehow they're surviving. I mean, aside from the fact that the bees are immortal, they probably still don't like getting shot.
I mean, that's fair.
Hello, John. So that's a thing right there. That's something we knew people had asked for it. But when we first did the game, we were just like, oh, we don't have room for it, or we didn't have the time. And we said, let's find a way to add that now.
Awesome. Hey, John Doom, welcome. So obviously bastions and bases, if you're familiar with Savage Worlds, you know how bases work. They're, in the SPC, the Superpower Companion. They're in the Fantasy Companion. And I think they're in all of the companions up to date. And I do think, speaking of, I think the Sci-Fi Companion is out. I need to double check on that. But what is Hometown? What's the goal if we can get to 70,000?
So Hometowns is like the idea. A lot of I've had several people I've worked with, whatever, and they like the idea of like, what if I want to what's the Secret World like in my town, or a city near them that they know well? It could be a city, town, location, whatever. And the idea is how to take what's your normal town and turn it into that, Secret World. What things could be happening in your town? And of course, depending on the size of your city and town, the scope of what might happen there could be different. But the idea is to give people the tools to turn their town and explore it as if there's something terrible. Remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Oh yeah.
It's on the, that town always had all this weirds going on.
The hell no.
It's not necessarily going to be that, but I mean, it's the idea is like, why is this town so weird? What are the things going on here? What are the conspiracies, the cryptids, or why would this town have whatever it has, but that makes it part of the secret world? It might be only enough for one adventure the way you run it, and that leads them to the bigger world, or maybe you have a city or a town that has enough where you think you could build it. You just need ideas and tools to do that. It's not going to be an extensive book. These are small add-ons, but they're going to be a tool to help you go down that path. We don't want to like give you the 200-page book on how to turn your town into a secret world town, but 3 to 5 pages can share quite a bit of information and ideas to help people with that.
Oh yeah,
could be a little more depending on how it ends up, but
love it. Well, let's start at what's in. Ooh, here we go. Craig points out every town has ghost stories or weird history that can be developed. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that was always what I loved about playing in World of Darkness. Whenever I ran a World of Darkness game, we played in the city or town that we were at. Yeah, see, John Doom, the John Hive mind continues to exist. So you had a great Kickstarter with the Secret World for Savage Worlds, and you did a second Kickstarter or you did the 5e Kickstarter.
5e first, and then Savage Worlds converted.
For this, you decided to kind of say, hey, we're going to do the North America supplement for both at the same time.
Yeah.
If you back, you get to decide which one you want. I know we covered this when I had you on Savage Universe back in January, but I'm going to pull up the Kickstarter page. What's in the North America book?
A lot of stuff. When you asked me, of course, my brain can't remember it all. There's going to be some new cryptids, some new monsters, so to speak, because while the Secret World isn't all about that, sometimes when you're just doing a one-shot, a one-off, you just want to investigate the creature or something, that's an easy thing to run with. In fact, if you scroll down just a little bit further there on the screen, you'll see the Secret World mission pack. There's 12 missions there, which is mostly, it's a lot of cryptid stuff in there. It's not all. If I remember correctly, there's a couple that are more about a place or a conspiracy, but mostly it's about what you think is a weird creature going on here, that whatever. Because those will make easy one-shots that you don't have to know all the ins and outs of something that people can just hit. So the GM can say, I want to run the Secret World, but I don't want to really delve deep into whatever this plot might be. And then we also have the 3 adventures that are going to be, whereas Stoneward Bound, the first adventure, won't necessarily tie directly into it. It would be kind of assumed you've gone through that to a degree. You could do it without it, but the idea is that that's going to lead on, and that's a 3-part adventure that's going to lead into the grand sort of like story arc I have in mind for these books as they come out. These first 3 will start it, and then every book thereafter will advance that plot one more notch down till we get to the last book.
Right. We've talked a little bit about that. Like the idea is as each faction book comes out, sort of this grand narrative that is very Secret World, but also uniquely Star Anvil is sort of developing and unfolding.
Yeah. That's the idea. We'll see if we can pull it off as good as we think it will be. And then, of course, we have the archetypes or classes, pre-gens, depending on, if you're getting the 5e or the Savage Worlds version, which the new, the Boston Witch, which is to really say witch, but we're just putting the flavor of Boston on it because that way we can tie it into a particular group a little bit and give you a little more North America feel. The Mystics, and then the Illuminati Operative. None of these characters are immortal. They can die, but they do have powers, or 2 of them do. And, the Illuminati will have, access to equipment and resources to play. And then there's a couple more maps, more figure flats, the action deck. That action deck was actually going to be a stretch goal. Yeah, Boston. It was going to be, and I should never do accents, as my wife tells me.
Boston.
And we included the Illuminati action deck because we basically had them done, but they did not qualify in the last Kickstarter for a stretch goal we had. So I said, well, this is the Illuminati. Let's do the Illuminati action deck here is included so that you get that. And if you're backing at the $80 level, you automatically get the alt cover for the North America book for those that must have.
So let's talk about the Illuminati, because this is the book that focuses on them, and they're one of the three core factions. Now, there are other factions that are hopefully going to be explored in books as well. But what's kind of the key takeaway for people who have never played The Secret World, may not even have looked at the original Secret World book, which you can get as part of this Kickstarter as an add-on? Huh?
Yeah.
Tell us about the Illuminati.
I can't. It's a secret, as I'll always say.
We're going to be sitting around for 45 minutes then.
Yeah, that would make it kind of rough. No, the Illuminati are, all the factions have power all over the world. They're not just in any one region. However, the Illuminati primarily have their power base in North America. And their tagline is sex, drugs, and Rockefeller. It's about money and power and what it can do for you. And so what we're going to do with them is really like, what are they doing in North America? What's their current plots in North America? What's more about like the inner workings of the Illuminati, like the different levels and ranks. You're not going to get everything because it wouldn't be a secret if we spelled it all out and don't leave anything to mystery. But to give a little more detail for the GM to work from based on what we're getting from the game, we have the fabulous Josh Deitch. I always want to call him Deutsch, but I think it's Deitch if I say it correctly. Sorry, Josh, again. Who works for Funcom, did a lot of what do you call it? Writing of the buzzing, the voice you hear in the game. And so he's helping with the writing of that detail for the Illuminati. So GMs have more ideas what are their subplots? What are they aiming for? Some more NPCs for them, so you can figure out who's who. Like, Kristen Geary is, if I say her name right, is a really well-known and loved character by people of the Illuminati. Anytime that comes up, they talk about it all the time. But we want to bring in some more, maybe some more detail of existing characters or add some in that, like, at different tiers that are useful for people to refer to as they run adventures and what's going on in the world. That section is going to take a good chunk of the book, but it won't be the largest section because it's also a source book for anyone with any of the other factions to play in North America. So we don't want to just make it about the Illuminati, but there's a little more focus on them here than any of the other factions.
So the Dragon and the Templars and Orochi, they're all going to have their own hotspots, if you will, in North America. But overall, North America is kind of the Illuminati power base.
That's their power base, but of course they can't totally control it. Not the only ones there. So yeah, if you're having to be a secret society, you can't easily control everything because you have to do it from behind the curtain. So you can't always have control of everything. You got to pick and choose. The book will have something like, for example, and the exact way this will look in the book could end up a little different by the time we're done going over our meeting next week. But if you've got, like, say, New York City, you say, well, the Illuminati are here, but what do the Templar want with New York City? What are their interests? You're not going to get, it's a small book, so you're not going to get tons of pages. You're going to get a paragraph of, hey, the Illuminati actually want this, but over here, the Templar are at odds with them, and over here, maybe the Dragon are. And not everyone will be in every city. Again, that would be a really large book if we went to that kind of detail. It's going to be more a little bit of idea and story where, like, focus on the Illuminati, but what are the other factions doing here? There might be a couple areas where there's some hot spots where other factions are a bit more powerful in that area than you would think, and then we'll add that in there depending on what seems interesting to the story and to keep that conflict going. That's good for role playing.
So the Illuminati are really sort of maybe more they're the old money, like old power structures, kind of like entrenched in those.
Old money for America, not compared to Europe.
Well, fair.
They're the new money, really. I mean,
right.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, they're in the sense that way. But yeah, they are those who, by American standards, would be the older, more powerful, people in power. Yeah.
Craig says, saving the world made profitable. Yeah, that's
exactly a good choice. Yes. Hello.
So, I have to ask, put you on the spot here. Have you ever read the Illuminatus trilogy?
No idea what it is, so the answer is no.
That's kind of the trilogy that, like, set the Bavarian Illuminati on the map, if you will. It influenced the Illuminati card game by Steve Jackson Games back in the day. It's
Well, I should probably get that on my
very
reading list.
trippy trilogy. I don't know if anyone in the chat has read the Illuminatus trilogy. I believe one of the authors of it is Sly Flourish, the Lazy Dungeon Master's dad. Like it's this very kind of small pond, interesting thing. So I figured I would ask. All right, before we go back to Secret World, what's on the horizon for Star Anvil?
Well, I keep wanting to announce the next project, but I can't yet, and you know what it is. I'll put you
Do
on the
know what
spot.
it
You
is.
do know what it should be. We can't until we have the
I could say
contract
right
signed
now.
for it. It's what you call what do I want to say? It's in the works. It's not a. It's pretty much a done deal as long as we get a few last little things worked out, but it's not just there yet. And then we have Dominions of Steel coming towards the end of the year. Should everything keep flowing the way we want it to, which is hello, say hello, Boba Fett, get down, please. They just don't like it when I'm not holding them. That's as my friend Ross likes to say, big stompy robots. I mean, inspired by games like BattleTech and so forth, with some really that's Jeff and Bobby, I think the right first names, have written. They wrote that. I mean, that's not something we did by ourselves. They're bringing that to us. We're going to bring it out, and inspired by things like that, with the idea that the game should be consistent when you're in your robots and when you're not in your robots. The world should work together. The way the design of the mech should match the way they look with their equipment. It's a really huge book. Designing your mechs and everything in there is all how to do the whole thing from the ground up.
Oh, awesome!
So
but that's after the next secret project. So that's...
after the secret world, then the secret project, then Dominions of Steel. Those are our immediate plans. I mean, I have some cool stuff I'd like to do next year, but that's just me plotting until I see we get through this year first. I mean, I want to do another Starbreaker book, and things like that.
Oh yeah,
of course. Knights Arcanum one. I want to get that out.
I know a lot of people are excited about Knights Arcanum.
Yeah, it's very much on my to do. But no, I mean, I think the next project would be cool. The one that I really want to tell you about, but I can't. And then after that, the Dominions of Steel I think is really great. We're going to do like a lot of line art. Going to go to that old school line art.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to, I mean, maybe with some stretch goals we'll do it in color, but it's probably going to be in a black and white line art for most of the mechs and stuff. But maybe some chapter pages in color and the cover in color. But
there is something classic, especially if you're going back to games like BattleTech or Heavy Gear or anything like that, about doing the classic black and white line art. I mean,
yeah, I think it looks really cool. We have since they haven't fully approved it, it's not done yet. I would share that we have a concept piece we did that looks really good, and it's not quite refined yet. But since I don't have the guys here to ask if they're ready to share it yet, it's 100%. I won't do that to them. So,
yeah. I remember pouring over the 3025 technical manual and the 3050, 3055, like all of those were black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Star League one, like 2750 or something like that. I played a lot of BattleTech back in the day.
I just love that look. I mean, it also reminds me of like the art from Riffs by Kevin Long. Just that sharp, and it's basically a comic book style art to a degree. It's like the lines that you would feel like a comic book artist would color. You can paint over it; it has a completely different look to it. I think when you do a painted version of the art, it loses a lot of the edge, and it doesn't look like such high sci-fi tech. It gives it that softer fantasy feel. I don't know why that is when you do paint overs. So I like that where the lines are still seen and sharp, and you get that more angle and metallic and than the painting, generally speaking. Some people have done good with it, but I generally like it the other way.
Yeah, the Riffs World Book. What number am I thinking of? World Book 5, Tri-X and the NGR, with all of Kevin Long's robots and armor and all black and white solid line art.
The Cyclops armor inspired the Star Marine armor for Saints and Sinners.
Yes, the Cyclops armor from the NGR is
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Well, I mean, even the gargoyles got giant stompy mechs in that book.
As they should.
They should. Mech suits for demons.
I mean,
that's all I want. That's all I want.
Demotech.
So Craig brought up a good point, and I think this is a great way to look at the Illuminati. Basically, think of them as the sort of people that would populate a New England prep school and perhaps attend the secret societies that spring up in a New England.
See, that just tells me that what I should do is after we finish this book, as a small supplement, we should do like basically the New England prep school and all the stuff going on there. Do a little spin-off thing there.
That's right. Do a little skull and crossbones supplement for the North America.
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, if I only had time and money.
Well,
that would be cool. That would be a cool thing to do, though.
You've got new cryptids, Sasquatch, Skinwalkers. The Jersey Devil.
Yeah, my wife actually. So I tasked my wife several months before we got to launch this and said, "Hey, we're getting ready to do. We're going to get these are the next 3 books in line." So she's been building a compendium of cryptids, where she's already got like links to the articles, images of them for me, a basic write-up that we're going to go back, so that her job is going to be to really kind of write up, give us the basics for these cryptids and stuff, so that we can just, here's the art for the artist, here's the write-up already. We're going to have that really going quick. It's 10 new cryptid types plus some of the art and or creatures that we had for the first book that we just didn't get in there. We're going to add to, like, there's a couple of Orochi type characters we have that we can add, things that aren't necessarily North America, but we have it, and I want to give it more stuff for people to have. So we're going to add that. We've already got the art for about a half dozen more. So I figured if they, as long as they don't, like the scrap golem, several of the Orochi, there was there's just a couple we had the art for, we just didn't get it in the book. So, cut it. So we might as well get it in there.
So, you've mentioned it several times. Your wife was a huge fan of this MMO.
Mm-hmm.
Does she participate in the play tests? Obviously, she's helping you put together your cryptid database.
Well, she has definitely played, and she definitely reads. And when I write, and when I come up with, I just like shoot out random ideas. She'll go, "That's dumb." No, she'll say stuff. She'll say no. That's not how that works.
Very good for her. No, it's a dumb idea, JM.
She's like, "No, you can't." She said, "This doesn't work because of this story over here, and that conflicts with this plot line." Or she'll say, "That's a really good idea because it works with this."
X, Y, Z.
And we could do that. Oh, Big Mikey's here. Oh, this guy right here is part of a podcast called the 0 Point Report, and they did their 100th episode celebration last night. They play the Secret World and talk about it all the time. They're great guys. They've been very helpful. I like those guys.
Congrats.
So
welcome, and we have Onyx Panther. Hello. Craig is. Craig is the Illuminati guy here. Like, that's great. Yeah, if nothing else, a fraternity or a sorority works as a base location.
Yeah, that would be, bases and bastions where we got that done. So we're going to look at different options on how to present that in the game to fit in North America. We can't cover everything, but we want to give some interesting options to build that up for people to play.
Well, speaking of interesting options in North America, it looks like you have the new cities are Mexico City, Tampa, and Vancouver.
At least.
As well as
actually many more.
And what?
Is many more, but at least those, yes.
Okay, so can you give us just a high level, like, what are the ideas for those 3 cities? Like, what's going on? And let's start with Mexico City.
Oh, I have no idea right now.
No idea on it.
Real loosely, we looked at we chose cities. Again, my wife, I had her said, what are the cities with good lore? What are cities that have interesting opportunities for either cryptids or have existed long enough to where maybe there's going to be interesting local legends, or is it we wanted to make sure we didn't, when we said North America, we didn't want to just do America. So, that's why we've got, I think we have 2 places picked out for Mexico, I believe, and I think we have 2 places for Canada. It might only be 1 in Canada. I think there's a total of 10 cities we have, for sure. And then there's what we're trying to do is, Roanoke. Yeah, there's so many places we could do, and that's the problem.
That's a great one.
I mean, the book could easily balloon up to a 300-page book, but that's just not going to happen. If we had done like $150,000 Kickstarter, said, let's make a few more pages. I mean, because you got to pay the artist the time.
We got 30 minutes, people.
Yeah, I mean, where are we at right now? I don't know. Where have we hit?
You crossed 63.
Oh, well, see, there you go. We only need 7,000 more in 30 minutes, and we can get hometowns. I'm so to be honest, though, I joke about that, and what I am happy about is people really supported us doing another book. It's a supplement, not the primary book. You don't need this book to play, right? It's a nice to have to expand the world. So the fact that when people come back and support that second book, that's what lets you know people are fans. They're really willing to help out. They trust the work you've done. And that's super appreciated because it's letting us keep growing. And we want to do the Templar in Europe next. Then after that, Dragon in Asia and so on. And again, we can't cover everything, but just keep adding to it and giving more to explore.
So is the idea of 1 Kickstarter a year basically for Secret World?
Generally speaking, that at least that. There could be a year I would love to have a year where we do 2 to kind of get us a little more along, but I also feel like that could be like just a little too much for some people, and it might be too much. You never know where it falls on the range of people's budgets and time and so forth. So give us hometowns anyway.
There's a deep love of Secret World out there for sure. Well, Sequence said something, and it kind of brings up a point. Are you going to do a pre-order store after this?
Yes.
If the pre-order store does well, if you thought about,
we could put a stretch goal on the pre-order store, but that'd have to be another 10,000 on the pre-order store. See, because I'm greedy. No, it's there's 6 books in a movie. We don't do movies, but that'd be great.
6 books in a movie.
I mean, the plan is, we've got the core book, we got the 3 big factions, the ones everyone knows from that you could play basically, and then we want to do a Rochi for sure, and then there's the final book in this plan that focuses around something that I don't have 100%. Like I've mentioned to Funcom, but they haven't fully said, they're not fully in on the final details. That's too far out, so we won't say what that redacted name of that book will be and what it will cover. Phoenicians are not necessarily in this plot line of books we're doing, but it doesn't mean that we won't give them a supplement or something at some time. It could be I think Phoenicians and the Council of Venice and could end up in a book of other factions where we kind of cover broadly, just a lot of other factions.
Onyx Panther says, thanks for keeping the world alive, and agreed. Like I loved the Secret World.
We've had a lot of people who are happy that they're just like, thank you in that sense. Like they're excited there's something more coming for the game. I mean, I keep hoping one day it'll be a big breakout, that what people are like, well, maybe it'll get really big and they'll bring the Secret World back. I mean, you never know. I mean, it did happen. A lot of people forget, and I'm not saying it's going to happen to us. We're a whole different property and a whole different small company. But people forget that when West End Games did the Star Wars role-playing game, the movies were done at that time. And they kind of kept in people's conscious for a long time. And then it kind of did help bring it back. It wasn't the main reason it came back, but it didn't hurt that it kind of kept the torch alive for a period of time to give it a chance.
Well, and right, they ran everything through Lucas, who was very hands-on for the lore. Mm-hmm. And so when Timothy Zahn kind of launched the revitalized expanded universe, Lucasfilm sent Timothy Zahn West End Games role-playing books
as a reference.
Hey, here's the research that you should be doing.
Yeah, and I think we're enough different from the original. I mean, we're not that different, but we're enough different from the original storyline. They may not choose to use, we'll be like the equivalent of Legends. It's like good ideas, but we're not gonna. If they suddenly brought it back, we're not gonna copy you. We're just gonna. But we might take some stuff you did. I mean, they own it all. When we're done, the fact of the matter is, whatever we do, Funcom owns. So if they want it, it's theirs. We
Yeah.
don't own it when it's done. It's 100% theirs. So if they like it, it's theirs.
Craig's still trying to guess the final faction.
No, you'll never guess it.
Craig is a wealth of information. I'm just saying, Brandon.
If they were to guess, I wouldn't even answer. You wouldn't even know if you got it right. So,
yeah, Secret World has dropped a few bits since Moons of Madness in the Park, but they are things. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, that's why they keep control of their IP. They may revisit it someday because they do own it. They can. They whatever resources and tools have been developed since then. If they find something, get a spark and an interest in it, you never know what could happen. I mean, I don't speak for Funcom in that manner. They're going to do what they're going to do, but you never know what could happen. We can all hope.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, Star Anvil has developed a lot of their own properties, right? Enemies Unleashed, Starbreaker, you've got Knights Arcanum, you have
Dominions of
Steel coming out, you got Secret Project,
super secret.
but you also have Secret World, and it sounds like you're going to be, the plan is to keep producing Secret World for.
Well, we recently extended our contract the previous year, so we have a good number of years, and I don't see so far any reason why Funcom would stop, although they could.
Yeah.
They could say we have a different direction we want to go, but they've been great. So I don't foresee any reason why we'd stop. I hope to keep going until we finish the series of books. There's something I desperately want to do that I'm pitching towards Funcom a little bit, a little soft pitch, and that is I would love to do, once we finish the sequence of books, to do the Secret World, the Third Age, the past, all that stuff that you've been hinted at. Let's go explore that. We'd have a lot more freedom to explore it in some ways because it's not known, because it's not written. That would be fantastic. However, whether that happens or not, if they're, who knows? I mean, right now the main focus is get this core set of books done and some supplements and adventures. I mean, so that people can really explore this before we move on to another thing. We do have at this point, we have the first adventure, Stormward Bound. We got Contagion, which you wrote. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
We also have the 3 adventures coming in this Kickstarter, plus 12 one-sheets. So if you look at that, that's 15, 16, 17 adventures you could play.
Yeah. Oh, you're still muted. Yeah.
Hello?
There you go.
Okay. I didn't want to cough in everyone's ear, but I think it'll be neat to just explore these cool new things that we want to do and see where to go. I'd love to have some cool supplements that expand things, but we almost have a year's worth of adventure for people by the time we're done with this. 17 adventures is pretty. Most people play every other week, so with a few I can't play this weekends and scheduling conflicts, that's a year because scheduling conflicts happen.
I wasn't able to purchase the lifetime subscription to Lord of the Rings Online or Secret World. Both times those were offered, I missed out on getting them, and I still kick myself for both of those because those would be games I would definitely always go back to. Jackals in the Secret World. I appreciate Tabletop Almanac. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm probably the rarity, but I run 2.5 games a week, and I play in the 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, look what I found this week.
Ooh. I know, right? Look at that. Follow the Children of Bronze. But this is not I'll shill for Jackals all the time.
Not related to anything, just because you wrote it, I found it today at Half Price Books.
I appreciate it. All right, so let me ask you this, because I know we've talked a little bit about this. I love the idea of doing 12 one-sheets.
Mm-hmm.
right? It's sort of one a month.
Mm-hmm.
Any other one sheets on the horizon that you may want to talk about?
For the Secret World?
Well, just for anything at Star Anvil Studios.
I have a one sheet available for Starbreaker being worked on right now. And then I think that's it right now.
It's true take. I do run 3 to 4 games.
When I see a few, once we get this done and squared away, we'll probably look at. My goal is to next year have 12 more one sheets for the Secret World ready to go. That's a goal. We'll see if that happens. I mean, I'd like to be able to say every year you have, 12 adventures you can do, whatever. And think about the one sheets we did do for this one. They're not North America focused. They're all over the world. So that we have the 3 adventures that are really focused, but we don't want to just always so we give you a few more options too. But
Fairgrounds, that's true. One sheet's not always doesn't mean one session. It just means real easy to prep and get through.
All my one sheets are one adventure.
Welcome. If you haven't checked out DM James' Altered Morality, it's running every other week on Thursday nights after Savage Universe on the Peggett channel, and he's running a game of Necessary Evil. And I've only seen the first episode, but the second one streamed this week, and I have to play catch up. I'm sorry, DM James. I promise I will.
Okay. Everyone that's on right now, everyone hit your social media and say we have 22 minutes to do $7,000. It could happen.
22 minutes. We're still over 63.
Yeah.
And
it could happen. I mean,
so I think what I like about the one sheet idea is that it's a low commitment, both for writers and GMs, but like having something where it's coming out kind of consistently and going, hey, this is still in people's mind. Hey, this is still in people's mind. Hey, we're still doing, the adventures. Plus, if you run games at conventions, one sheets are the best.
Yeah. You can run it, be done, and it fits usually. The original this mission pack was going to be released this year, one at a time. It was done before we did the Kickstarter, but its final approval didn't happen until right when we got ready to run the Kickstarter. I thought, well, what would make it worth to be like? I thought, let's give this to the people that back now. Let's give them that option to have it all at once, and then maybe we do some more one sheets for the year later on too if we can get them done. I'd love to do 2 or 3 at a time ahead and kind of keep the action rolling for the rest of the year. But I think it's when this comes out, people will have a good chunk to run through because it'll take us the next 3 to 6 months to get this book done, depending on how things go. People don't want to hear that part, but they would love it to be done tomorrow. But we don't get our money until about 2 weeks after we fund, so really almost 3 weeks. So
well, I just put the link in the chat. So follow this link that's on the screen or in the chat that I just dropped. We have 21 people in the chat. I'm just saying.
21? Several of them have already backed.
That's right.
I see them on my Discord.
In the chat, then we have minutes left.
Now, also we do have a Foundry module. If those that some people have not, it's in the add-ons, and a lot of times people don't see the add-ons. So we have Foundry's already started for the core book. It should be done soon. That's why it's an add-on that people can grab, so that you're going to get it at a relatively reasonable price, slightly less than probably you'll pay after the Kickstarter would be over. And then we also have we did turn it also over to Fantasy Grounds, but I don't know how I would be able to include that. So it's going to be available for both Fantasy Grounds and Foundry in the near future, sometime this year.
So when you back, I've got the faction leader pledge pulled up here.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what comes in the faction leader pledge. But when you scroll down, here are the optional add-ons. And you can add on the Foundry VTT platform, which will be more expensive when it releases. This is a introductory Kickstarter price. You can get the core rulebook if you haven't gotten it before. You can get the Illuminati special cover from the core rulebook. And then you've got the mission pack for either Savage Worlds or 5e. Thanks, Tabletop Almanac. That's awesome. All right, so let me ask you this, Brandon. I mean,
yes.
like we're saying, you have a lot of Star Anvil Studio properties. But you also have the Secret World, which was a licensed property that you went after. Not counting the Secret Project.
Yeah.
What, like, if you could go after any property that has not been developed at this point, what would you love to see come in-house at Star Anvil Studios?
Thundercats.
Oh.
I keep asking. It's actually for the last 2 years, I have the licensing department at Warner Brothers email, which took me like 3 months to track down to actually get an answer from someone who approves stuff. And I email them annually. They said, you can email us next year. We might be able to say yes then. Or say no again. Not saying they're going to say yes, but you keep trying. So yeah, I keep going for Thundercats. That's the one I want the most.
The chat is in agreement. And yes, John, the hive mind is real. I got there before you because we are like a boy band. We're in sync. All right, so Thundercats. Anything else that?
Same thing. I went after Scooby-Doo. That was also a no.
You would have gotten it if it hadn't been for those kids.
Those pesky kids. Those pesky licensing deals. Mad Max is also not available. Asked for that one. They're not licensing Mad Max. I thought that'd be fantastic. I love post-apocalypse, so those are some of the ones I'm interested in. Oh, and then there's another one out that I actually don't know if I'll get or not. I mean, I don't really have any clue that I will, but I'm not going to say what it is because maybe there's a chance it will happen. So I don't want to put anyone onto it before I actually get a chance at it.
Right. So you're saying there's a chance.
Well, no one's been able to. I haven't reached the person to tell me no yet. So until I hear no, there's still always a chance.
Will do, Craig. Thanks for the John Hivemind warning.
Sounds very.
I've always thought it would be fun to make a PvP role-playing game based off John Carpenter's The Thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, like a buddy of mine, when I managed a game store back in Colorado Springs, we came up with a silly convention LARP version of The Thing, where if ever you were in a room alone with someone who was The Thing, they would hand you a card that says you are now also The Thing. And so you would get a little stack. So the first thing had like a big wad of "You Are the Thing" Post-it cards. And so the goal was, through social deduction and like wandering through this area of the convention, try and isolate the thing with a large group of people and then take it out. I think that would be
interesting.
No, DM James, those were shared in confidence.
I would like to see that picture. I will add it to the back of the Secret World book.
No! Curse you. We were playing, I was running the Han Cluster blind playtest for Tracy, because Han Cluster is coming out soon. We've got, I think, 2.5 adventures left in the plot point campaign. And somehow, after our break, we all got real slap happy. And so the second half, we could have finished Adventure 8, no issues. But instead, our Han Cluster Discord channel is filled with all of these pictures from our youths. And apparently, DM James was just waiting for the opportunity to weaponize the Han Cluster chat, and it took him less than 24 hours.
Let's be fair. Was alcohol involved?
That's fair. So Grey March wants a Waterworld RPG.
I'm not going to say who, but I have a picture of you in your youth now.
You son of a...
I'm just saying, I have a picture, and he's not a bearded dude. Interesting.
No, not a bearded dude.
Mm.
This is a development that happened after this went away.
Yeah, when we lose it up here, we grow it down here to
Yeah,
make
that's
it
really what happened. I just grew too tall for my hair, and it eventually just,
fair.
when I was younger, I was only about this tall. John Doom says there is a Savage World single adventure written by another Arizonan, which is like the thing, but at a diner. That's awesome.
Interesting.
Sad that we won't get the Great Humongous. Yeah, it was Tink's fault. I blame Tink. Wow, Tink, you just threw me right under the bus.
It's a fair thing. So, I mean, for me, it's this has just been like, counting down. Like, we started off really strong, and then that middle period, like, we didn't know how this was going to go, and we actually funded in the last 3 days that we finally hit full funding.
I think it was Thursday, and then you got another 10% on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, so really, we've had a really strong run at the end. It's always that middle that's slow, but I mean, we've accomplished, and the thing I guess some people don't realize is, as a smaller company, you'll see other companies will have smaller goals at first, because, and this is not a bad thing. They're big enough that they have the money to make the product, but they want to make sure how much product to make, and they can get some extras in there.
Yeah.
So for us, what you see up there is that number that assures we can make the project after we pay Funcom, credit card fees, Kickstarter, backer kit, advertising, writers, and this was like, and then in case people back out or the credit cards don't go through, we just said, let's make a number that we know no matter what, we can make the book.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people get a little scared when they see that and decide, oh, that, we can't, and everyone came through and they backed the project. I mean, we have darn near 900 people who backed, and the first Kickstarter had about 1,900. So about 50% of the people who backed the first Kickstarter, roughly,
that's a good return rate.
That's a good number. I mean, that's really great.
Well, and you've got the fact that this supplement comes out, you're going to look at least, you've got a pool of 900 people who've already said, well, I'll back a Secret World supplement, right? The core book always does better than the supplement, but this is a solid number, right? If you wanted to do a print run, they generally say about 1,000 backers is what you need for like a print run.
Yeah.
Like Stargate Studios.
Yeah. Here's the thing too. Like, if you talk about print runs, we would have, everything would have been, if we weren't doing print on demand, where people, they pay the cost of printing after the project's over. We would of course be charging more. You wouldn't be getting all the stuff in that $80 faction. It wouldn't be $80, because we would include the cost of printing in there as well, and all that stuff to handle all that. And so in the end, we price the PDF setup so that you're paying, by the time you pay for printing, you're paying about what you would pay if you could get a print 100%. But we're not really, we don't really have a huge consistent, we're seeing it, starting to see it, but we have not had the amount of consistent backers to go, we know we can price for a print run and do it. And we are looking towards eventually moving to print runs. My next project is required to be a print run. The one that I don't talk about yet, it will be a offset print, or it will not happen, because that's part of the licensing. And so we hope we'll get enough backers for it to make it happen.
All I'm going to say is watch Savage Universe, because as soon as Brandon can talk about it, I will be dragging Brandon back onto the show, because
hopefully in the next 30 days or so I can make the announcement. We're just waiting to get the return on the contract to then go ahead and say, yeah, I agreed to all that stuff too. There's no big argument. It's more like, do you agree to this detail? Yeah, but what about this? I want to be able to do, can I do miniatures, or can I do X, Y, Z? And we get all those agreements in place, then we'll send it off to the IP lawyers to make sure we're both happy, and then, sign it. So I think it's going to happen. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. It's not like I've been ongoing talking discussions for several months. I mean, it's not like it's just started, and I hope. I have a good relationship with the people I'm working with. I think they're fantastic. So I think it'll happen. For the biggest,
Craig brings up a great point. The biggest big is the Foundry add-on. VTT has a huge amount of flexibility. It's true. I mean, for the Han cluster, my group is scattered between Arizona, and I think I'm the furthest east in Dallas. And I think Tink's technically further east than I am, but still technically Dallas. And we play on Foundry, and it's a huge...
Oh, sure.
It's a huge way to get even more usability out of... Because a lot of times we back these games, and we're like, well, when will I ever play it?
Yeah.
Well, you probably know enough people to actually get the game together.
If it's online, you can get enough people together. Well, and we're playing, Eve of Ruin for the Vecna game.
Vecna Eve of Ruin, yeah. We got to get our next session scheduled
next week. Let's go.
Dean, I'm with you. Dean says someday there needs to be an offset print of the Secret World for Suede.
Well, we want
book over here too.
We want to do that. Like I would love to do offset, box set, the whole 9 yards, and I want all the nice.
I'm sorry, Benny to Tabletop Almanac for the Winamp reference. If
we can get a little more once we're out there a little while longer, see the consistent people backing the number we're getting, then we do want to do an offset, and then VTT. It's like VTT and offset print are two opposite things in a lot of ways, but they're the things that people really want. They want to play digitally if they can't get a group together, but people still like a really nice high quality book in their hands, and we want both. But I don't think a lot of people, like we're as Pinnacle likes to say, they punch way above their weight. They're doing really good for such a small company. I think for the size of our company, we've really, to get Secret World going, we've done really well, but it's just taking us a little time to get all these tools in place so that we can deliver all these other things. As I'm still learning a lot about this industry. I mean, this is my we launched our first Kickstarter in 2022. So 3 years in, and I had never done a book before that Kickstarter, ever.
It's a lot of work.
So, and now I have a lot more contacts, people to work with. I mean, you have been fantastic. Thanks for your help. Learning from Ross Watson, who's done a lot of Savage Rift stuff. He's a fantastic guy, knows a lot. Working with Daryl Hardy, is a fantastic writer, very collaborative. Alita, who does our layout for us now, is just fantastic and really give us that really. She did all the Kickstarter graphics, does the books for us. I mean, Josh and his contacts at Funcom. My wife, who says that's not good, that's great, do more of that. But it's all the people as a whole that are coming in and making it happen. Because me by myself, I'd still be staring at the screen trying to figure out how to make it so you could read it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just good at bringing people together. That's what I do. So.
Gray March asked, any plans for fancy Savage Worlds Secret World character sheets on Roll20?
I don't know. I mean, we have done a Secret World character sheet for 5e and for Savage Worlds. I don't know anything about I don't even know anything about Roll20. I mean, so I mean, there's so many VTT things. I mean, there's so many options. I mean, DM's Guild, I know it exists, but it's like there's only so much we have time for. I mean, it becomes a matter of time. I have a full-time day job. I'm a nurse. I work Monday through Friday. I have an hour job drive to and from work every day. So there's 10 hours of my day blocked off. I fortunately have a lot of time that I can sit at my table and kind of message on Discord and stuff and do some notes and stuff. But to really dig into stuff that takes time and concentration, I can't not watch the patient I work with. So, I can take some little side stuff, but I can't do too much. And so most everything I do is on the weekend or late at night a little bit. And so until we get to a certain size, you can't have enough staff to take away, get that extra work, or you don't, it's just, you're stuck in the middle trying to do a lot you can. And so I think we're doing good. I know we want to do more, and I think the things people are asking for are things we want to do. So hopefully that happens.
Awesome. Soon. Well, I finished my coffee, which means we are getting close.
4 minutes, sir. Be patient.
I know. We have 4 minutes
63,
left. When we have
$261.
2 minutes left, I will put the countdown timer up.
All right. Everyone that's here, to message all your friends, just go back and buy one more add-on. If all 800 of you do it, we would hit it. Oh, a Merce, that's right. Merces, or actually Knight Smith dinner table. We're mercenaries.
I'll allow it.
I actually did a whole logo for that mercenaries, so that's funny.
Yeah, I saw that, Tink. We're up. You've got 7 backers. You're 7 backers short of 900 right now.
Oh, come on, guys. We can get to 900.
All right, let's get this. We'll add this to the stage.
2 minutes to go.
I think there we go.
Thanks for joining us, folks. It makes it fun. I mean, honestly, I do this for 2 reasons. I like the business side of making some money making games, but most of all, I love General Hospital, the RPG. No, thank you. But I love working with everyone, talking to people, being excited about these projects. I mean, this is a lot of fun. I mean, doing games is like being paid to have fun.
It really is.
When you get paid. When it happens.
All right, we've got 110 seconds left to go.
Hindrance amnesia.
Yeah.
I forgot you were my cousin. Then it becomes Game of Thrones.
Saying elsewhere, major hindrance. It was actually all a dream. Well, Brandon, I mean, another successful Kickstarter from Star Anvil Studios.
I'm not saying successful until we get to the last 90 seconds are gone. Paranoia still sets in,
Paranoia is real.
Oh my God. The fear is like, what if a whole bunch of people back out at the last second?
Don't say stuff like that.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna mute your mic.
They better, now they'll do it. They got 60 seconds and just kill me.
All right, here we are, last minute.
Okay,
No
sequence 249.
No.
You are in trouble.
Oh, the numbers change red now.
Oh yeah, that's scary. I mean, don't jinx us. Yeah,
right there with you, Onyx.
They're pretty active on the Discord, popping in and saying hi today about being excited. We had a few people that were really excited about being here. And again, when you're on the Discord and you get that response from the fans and stuff,
yeah,
that's the best part of doing it. Oh, we got 894. We had one more person jump in at the last second.
20 seconds.
Come on, 10 seconds. 6 people. It's a great number. It really is fantastic. I'm happy.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3.
Get ready for the confetti to pop.
1.
Yay! No fireworks, but we get confetti.
Just confetti. That's awesome. Brandon, congratulations, man.
Thank you so much.
It's always exciting to see aces do well with their projects. And I mean, Star Anvil Studios, yes, cheers.
Everyone's credit cards just got charged.
Cheers. Oh man, and everyone's cheering for you. We got Dean and Onyx and Tink and Clint. Awesome.
Thanks, everybody. Really.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Seriously, Brandon, congratulations. It is a Star Anvil Studios is building a wonderful line of projects, and I'm always glad to hang out and chat about them. I'm always excited about the next one that's coming down the pipeline.
You're required to talk about the next one soon.
Awesome. Well, that is it for Savage Universe tonight. We'll be back next week. We've got some. I've got quite a bit of events lined up for end of Fast Fun Furious February, the Creator Jam. We've got the Swag Awards coming up. We've got a couple of new aces that are coming on to talk about their projects. I am very excited about 2025 and everything that's going on in the Savage Universe. That is true, Clint. This alien parasite attached itself to my face, and I was going to burn it off with fire or acid. But people say that they like the look of it, so I'm going to going to keep it going. Feargrounds says they love what you've done so far and can't wait to see what's coming next. So
Thank you.
everybody, until next time, go out and play some Savage Worlds, and may all your dice ace. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.